What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Android Application Development. This is episode 2.2, and this is a part 2 episode of episode 2.1. So in the last episode, we finished up our button class, and we need to finish our main activity class. So what we're going to do is we're going to exit out button class if you have it open, and you're going to go into main activity class. So you're going to start typing in the onClick under the onClick open brackets. So we're going to have to make an intent. And again, like last video here where I typed it in and you typed it in and then I went over, I'm going to do the same thing for the first line of code. So I'm going to put in intent equals new intent get. I think I did that wrong. Nope, I didn't. Not yet. Get context. Okay. So if you did this correctly and did everything exactly like I did it, you should have an error here and an error here. The only reason why I don't have an error is because this is my second take of making this video. So I already imported intent. I mean, not you shouldn't have an error here, you should have an error here. So simply put your cursor over this and a little mini menu will pop up, and just click import intent. That's the error. Just like where we had an error for the button last video. So what is an intent? An intent is somewhat like an action. So we're making a new action and we're going to have the action connect to the button class. It's kind of hard to explain on the fly. So let me see if I can explain it after I do this. Yeah, it's like an action. So keep typing this. And type this. So intent is an action, and we're connecting the action to our button class. So when the button is clicked, we want the button class to begin. So we're telling it what we want it to do, and it wants to know, okay, when do we start the intent? Now this line of code is telling it to start the activity, start this activity. For result, what's the name and intent, which is connected to here, and then we're going to end it with a semicolon. Don't worry if you don't understand it. We'll go into more of this in the future. So we have an intent, but we need to put this in our Android manifest file. So once you first see the Android manifest, it can be very confusing to a new developer. So let's double-click Android manifest, and you will be brought to here. So I want you to go to Android manifest.xml. So as you can see, it's a bunch of random junk. But it's not. It's very important to the application. When you, for example, when you're on your phone and you launch an application, right? It's starting the Android manifest. This is the first thing that is starting when you are launching an application. It has to tell, okay, what SDK is this app used for? Is it used for Jelly Bean, Honeycomb, Gingerbread? And that's how we distinguish the difference between gingerbread and jelly bean. We don't type in jelly bean or gingerbread. We put in their API numbers. 10, I think, is jelly bean. I'm pretty sure. No, I'm sorry. 10 is gingerbread. 17 is jelly bean. Now to find the API numbers, the SDK numbers, you're gonna go into here. And it's going to say starting Android SDK Manager. Oh, it's API number, I'm sorry. So as you can see here, Android 4.2 Jelly Bean, API 17. That is what we're making this app mainly for, Jelly Bean API 17. So if a user is running a phone with an API 9, they will not be able to use this application. But if they're using API 10 or above, they will be allowed to launch this application. So that's basically what those 2 lines are saying. So once we press the app icon, it needs to know what to do. So we're stating that the icon is at the drawable res, these 4 drawable folders. Now Android considers each one of these the same thing. So we only have to this is going to be confusing. Android considers each picture the same thing, but it's not. They're different sizes, they're different resolutions, stuff like that. So it will choose, depending on the type of device, which picture to use. For example, if I am using a 4.7-inch phone, it's going to probably choose this one. But if I'm using a 3.5-inch phone, it's most likely going to use this one. I'm sorry. If I'm using a 4.7-inch phone, it's probably going to use this one. If I'm using a 3.5-inch phone, it's probably going to be using this one. They might be the same file name, but inside the picture, it'll be a different size. It'll be the same picture, it'll just be stretched out, it'll be a different picture, because you have to reformat the picture for each screen size, resolution, landscape, or portrait. So there's a lot of different modifications that you have to make. This is very basic. So we're setting the app theme here, don't worry about that. And so it needs to know what class to start up when we're pressing the app icon. So we want the app to start up main activity class. So that's what it's doing. It's starting this first. And it's setting it as a launcher. So when we launch the app, we want this to launch. So we need to set the intent. We need to connect button to Android, our button class to Android. So what we're gonna have to type in right here, you're gonna press enter after this / activity, and you're gonna type in okay. So we're stating that in activity, Android named a button activity. So we're stating that the button class is an activity. So if we go back to main activity, we need to start an activity. We need to tell Android that this is an activity. Otherwise, if we didn't enter this line, if we didn't, see, this is what happens when you have too much stuff open. I gotta close some stuff out. If we didn't state button as an activity, this would not work. So we have to put it in our manifest. So you're going to save all, and we're going to go back to our layout for a minute. We're going to open up screen2.xml. We're simply going to click and drag a large text anywhere you want. We're going to double click it, and where it says Android text, we're going to put this is screen 2. Now I know I'm not using a string, and Android's telling me I'm not using a string, but that's okay just for now. We're gonna have to put one in the future. So next we have to launch our app. So you're gonna want to press this icon. It's the Android Virtual Device Manager. So I already set up a test device. To set up a test device, you're going to click New, and you're going to enter the AVD name. You're going to enter the name of it. I put test device _ Ford. For device, choose Galaxy Nexus. For the target, select Android 4.2 API level 17. And then you're going to press OK. And then you're going to press exit. So to begin, so to test it, you're simply going to press the play button. And this will start the emulator. It will take a little while for the emulator to first start up. I think it's starting on my side, I may have a problem with starting the emulator because I also use a hardware device, so I manually may have to start the emulator. If you're having problems like this too, you can go into the AVD manager where we just were, select it, and click Start. That'll manually start it. So while that's starting, I will pause the video, come back after this has loaded. Okay, my emulator has started, and once yours starts, it should look like this. It should look like a phone. So to unlock the phone, you're going to hold the lock button and you're going to drag to the unlock. This will unlock the phone. And will bring you to the main home screen. So we're going to go back to Eclipse and we're going to try clicking the play button again. Let's see if it connects to it. Now I like to read the console. The console will tell you what is going on with the emulator and Eclipse while you're testing. So right now it's not telling me anything. This is LackleTap. It's telling me everything that's going on with the emulator right now. And it looks like it's doing a lot of stuff. So we're just gonna wait a second. Oh, I know why it's not starting. Okay. So when you're pressing the play button, you can't be selecting the I'm sorry, this will pop up when you first start. When you first press the play button, you're gonna want to select yes, and then just click OK. So when you want to test an application, you can't have XML selected like this. You have to select our app project, and then click Run. And then there we go. Now it's doing something. Android launch. So now, there it goes. The app has started. So now if we switch to the second view, and then it'll switch to the second view. So congratulations, you have just made your first button of many buttons. There are simpler ways to making buttons, but that was the basic way. Simpler ways can be harder, but can save space and time. But for now, this is just what we need. So that's all for this episode, and it looks like we only needed 2 parts, not 3. So I'll see you later, guys.